Hey, what's up guys, Mashine here, come back with a brand new video for you guys. Today we're going to be talking about inflation, and more specifically the impact that the inflation rate currently seeing worldwide is going to have on CSGO skins. Now obviously we are at a very high point percentage wise for inflation. We're going to be talking a little bit about that and the main impacts we're going to be seeing on the CSGO market, and potentially the slight upside there is there. There's not a ton of upside though. Before we hop on into this one though, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor. The sponsor for today's video is SkinsMonkey. Now, if you don't know what SkinsMonkey is, it's one of the most fast and efficient ways to trade out your CSGO skins if you're just not feeling it right now. You can go ahead, hop on over there, claim an extra free $5 on your first trade if you've never used it before. Plus, if you want to deposit some real money, you can get an extra 25% on top of that to spend on the site. It took me less than 3 minutes to complete the entirety of the trade, and if you guys are looking to do so yourself, it'll be the first link down in the description, and enjoy the video. Now, when it comes to talking about inflation in the terms of investing, it's never good. Inflation usually leans a lot towards lower prices and a lot of prices seeing stagnant growth or really not seeing any growth at all. That usually means that people are having to spend their money elsewhere and they're not going to be putting it into the market. However, that's talking about it in a stock market scenario. The CSGO Steam market here is not really a stock market scenario. As we can see, there's a lot of people who don't really know what they're doing, and that leaves a lot of room for you to make a significant amount of profit. First up here though, let's talk about the one good outcome, and that's going to be talking about the CSGO major. If there's a high inflation rate, we might see a significantly small amount of people investing into this major compared to the last. Now, I expect this major to have a lot of investors coming into it because we're coming off of Stockholm, which had super high prices all around for sticker capsules, and we saw some of them going 4 times the price you bought them for less than a month after the sale ended, which is absolutely crazy in this day and age that we're seeing something like that. Therefore, probably going to see a lot of people looking to invest into this major in May. However, if there is a super high inflation rate, it's not necessarily good. However, that could prevent some people from investing in all the way. Now, I kind of consider this the best case scenario out of something like inflation. Inflation is obviously not good. It leaves a lot of higher prices, which is mostly going to fall onto the consumer at the end of the day, and therefore this money that CSGO is receiving less of in these newer investments means that these people are required to put this money somewhere else. It's not necessarily a good thing that they're having to spend all this extra money on other things. However, in talking in terms of CSGO here, less investors is going to be a good thing when we're talking about this brand new major in just a couple months. We're coming off one of the best majors to invest into and one of the best looking stickers we've seen in a long time. Therefore, we're probably going to see a lot of investors in the next major, and anything that can lower that number is going to be helping everyone at the end of the day, most likely. Now, talking about CSGO skins themselves, I can't really see much movement because of inflation itself. The prices in CSGO are rapidly increasing and decreasing all the time. Even though an 8% inflation rate is extremely high, and that's currently what the US is sitting at, I don't think we're really going to be seeing much impact because of that. I mean, if we look at the Steam market, something like the Riptide case here, you can see how much it's fluctuating for an item that almost everyone in the game could have. They could have redeemed their stars for it at some point, and they could have bought some off the market at some point if they bought the pass. Therefore, the item is available to everyone in my terms here. But still, looking at these prices, we can see how the price increases 10 cents in the matter of 4-ish days, which is obviously outpacing inflation by a mile here. And that's something we see a lot with CSGO items, is they don't really follow the trends of inflation here. Logically, if we're talking about this, the stock market has gone down in those past 4 days. Now, I know obviously that's a very, very rough comparison to make. However, it's showing that there is definitely not going to be that strong correlation that we see with the normal markets, which is obviously going down with a higher amount of inflation. Here, I don't think that inflation is really going to be playing a major factor on a lot of items. Now, there's definitely some high tier items that could be going up in price. Obviously, if you have something that's $10,000, inflation, or rather a little bit more demand, is going to push that price up. Now, if you want to say that's more demand pushing that price up, or if you want to say that's inflation, that one's a little bit iffy, because that's almost $1,000 potentially you're talking about if you're looking at the year over year-over-year inflation rate. So I think it's definitely quite interesting there, because there definitely is the scenario that you could say that's inflation, but at the same time, that's also just a lot more demand because the money is kind of more available in a sense that there's going to be more of it out there. However, looking at the markets as a whole, I'm seeing a lot of good things. I mean, we're starting to see some cases that really shouldn't be moving in price that are extremely volatile right now, but that's a good thing because they're starting to go up in price. One of which, in my opinion, is the riptide case. The riptide case is way too early in its career to be moving like it did, 10 cents in 4 days. However, there's a very large chance that that was due to some FOMO and a lot of people investing in because they see the price case going up slightly. The case is overall pretty decent. However, there's still way too many of them out there to support the price point it's at currently. And I think there's going to be way too many down the line because people invested into. It might see something like the Broken Fang case where it goes up pretty quickly for a bit, like we're starting to see now, and then it starts to flatline for an extended period of time. Or we might see the opposite here, where it goes up in price and continues to go up in price because we hit some sort of major hype spree. And that's the last thing I want to talk about here, is we're starting to potentially approach a major hype spree, which is really good for a lot of people that are invested in at this time. If we look at a case like the Spectrum 2 here, we can start to see that after over a month of stagnant prices, we're starting to see some pretty significant growth, and it's coming pretty quickly. Now, this is obviously very hard to tell if that's going to be a major growth spree or not. Honestly, that is pretty vague evidence to support a major growth spree. However, there's a lot of cases that are starting to see some movement in price, which is definitely a really good thing that the CSGO market needs after a long extended period where we really saw nothing. And this is something not too unexpected. We knew after Riptide ended that there was probably going to be an increase in price because people are still spending money, but there's not in-game items to spend it on. People are spending their money on all the new cosmetics and skins that they could get inside of Operation Riptide. Now that that's over, we're starting to see a lot of really profitable things coming out of this, a lot of cases, because people are spending their money on those cases, most likely opening them up. It's going to be really interesting to see the March opening numbers to see if we do see an increase in cases opened, because those stars are no longer an option there. However, there's still a crazy amount of profit potential left on the table here that I'm really interested to see if it's going to be coming in the next 2 months. It's going to be really interesting for me personally to see what impact the major is going to play, because the major is something that could propel a lot of growth, or it could really stagnate prices because people are going to be selling off to invest into those new major items. It's going to be really interesting to see. However, I'm super excited to see what those major stickers look like, because at the end of the day, it might just be a better buying opportunity, or it might be a lot of profit. That's really all I have for today, guys. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.